On Sunday morning, you said that even inanimate objects have consciousness. And some time ago I noticed that old buildings that have been abandoned seem to be deteriorating at a faster rate than those that are occupied. So I'm wondering about what is the nature of this consciousness. Is there emotion involved?
Really good. Everything is consciousness. There's consciousness in everything. We've been talking about that a bit too. Let us start in another place, because this is the vantage point that we were jumping into this conversation, and we think it's a good way to begin it. When someone makes their reemergence into non-physical, they don't stop being aware of what's going on in the physical world that they have been a part of, and they do not lose interest in those that they were interacting with. And so that non-physical attention is available to those, provided they get on the same vibrational wavelength of it. It's like a friend upstream, so to speak, that is adding to. We like to liken that to the way your planet holds together. In other words, it isn't that things have been created and then of their own volition are holding together as such. It's that attention from the Creator is still holding things in place. So when a house is occupied, or when someone is thinking about the house receives the influence no different than the influence that we were just talking about in the previous two questions. In other words, attention to a subject is influence, and all of it is about vibration. So when we say to you that those like us who are non-physical and those like Jerry who have reemerged in non-physical are holding things as their object of attention, and that attention is part of the influence that holds things together, the continuity of your own physical body is not just about the cells of your body knowing what to do, although there certainly is intelligence in the cells. But your body is influenced dramatically by the thoughts you think, or about the thoughts that the source within you is thinking about your body, you see. That's a good basis. Now you want to take it further?
Yes. Well, I was actually thinking also, this was going to be a separate question, but then I wondered if they were related. I was thinking a few weeks ago I was watching a bird fly, and I said, gee, that looks like fun. If I were the bird, that would be an awful lot of fun for me. And we see people who have joy and little puppies who seem to have joy. Is the bird having joy, or
yes,
is the bird just being a bird and doing what it does? And
the bird is having joy.
By flying?
By flying. And as you watch the bird, often you can see that its more joyful moments are under those conditions. And sometimes you see them hunting while they fly, and sometimes you see them flying for the joy of flying. And
it seems that way.
And as you pay attention, you can discern the difference. And often, as they are flying for the joy of flying, there is someone like Jerry, someone who has reemerged into non-physical, who is soaring with them, you see. Yeah.
What about lower forms of animals, single-cell animals? Do they have joy, emotion?
Relatively speaking, yes. Everything is relative, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And so there's wanted and unwanted everywhere. Even the one-celled amoeba is knowing what it wants and knowing what it doesn't want. Yeah.
With joy, with emotion, with sadness?
Again, relatively speaking. Yeah. Relatively speaking. You couldn't compare the consciousness of things like that to the consciousness of your intellect and your understanding. You couldn't compare the emotional basis. You would call it instinctual. When you describe most animals, their guidance system you call instinctual, where yours we're calling emotional. We'd really like it to reach the place where you are so consciously aware and caring about the way you feel that it's just instinctual, that you would just naturally gravitate toward the good feeling. Animals are selfish that way. They know about that, you see.